there are these two girls in my room talking to each other, going through my drawers, and my window is wide open, bro. They broke into my house while I was in there in my room.
What's poppin', everybody? Welcome to the second episode of the Pew Pew podcast. Today's episode is a really special one. We got to talk with Machiavelli. He's a streamer, a competitor, an absolute grinder. And I do have to warn that my mic audio got corrupted for the 15 first minutes. So I do have some voiceovers for like the first 10 minutes of the watch. And then after that, it just goes to the regular podcast as it's supposed to be. So starting off as a streamer is probably one of the hardest things in the industry. So I want to know, like, how did you start and like what kept you going while you were starting?
I mean, bro, a lot of starting out and stuff, like you remember in that era was when like Ninja, Tfue, Fortnite, all that was popping off. So like when I saw that, I was like, dude, like I'm good. I could keep up with these guys, like I'm gonna try to do this, like not knowing even 5% of what was gonna go into it, but like it was one of those things I started as a hobby, as a passion. And I got a bunch of stuff done in my like IRL life with college, all that shit, got it done, got it out of the way. So once I finished that, I was like, it's like time to just figure out a project on my own and like see what I can do with something that I build. So with the streaming stuff, with a lot of other stuff too that I do online, like some of my like online stuff that I do, like I have some e-commerce businesses that I run, that type of stuff. It became something after college, which became like a passion project kind of thing where I was like, I'm just gonna pursue this and see what I can do on my own. So then it just became something where over the years I kept going, kept going. It started as a hobby, as like more of like I'm just gonna do it on my free time, to I started doing it more full time, started getting sponsors, started blowing up a bit. And then like I don't know, bro, it just one thing led to another. A lot of like obviously a lot of hard work, dedication every day doing all that, but also like obviously there's a lot of things where you're just in the right place at the right time, like things just fall into place. A lot of people found out about me or met me through Splitgate and knew about me because of that when that game blew up. So like that's where I got the biggest amount of like momentum for my content creation and all that type of stuff. Yeah, bro, I'm pretty much like I don't know. It's just I'm driven to be a competitor. I'm driven to just try to make my own stuff and put my own like a piece of myself into this world. Like that'll last forever. That shit immortalizes you. So it's like it's pretty much just like I thought of it as a project that turned into something more serious over the years.
So you talked about Splitgate, and obviously we have to talk about July 28th, the day where you got hosted by Splitgate for over 10,000 viewers.
Yep.
And so this apparently even crashed your PC.
Yeah, yeah. It crashed, it came back, crashed again, came back. You know how like OBS does that reconnecting thing? It kept doing that and coming back like multiple times. But luckily it didn't like completely crash, but it was like it's pretty bad for like 10 seconds, 15 seconds.
Obviously, this is a crazy amount of viewers, and this is definitely like a really hype moment and a huge leap for your streaming career. So, like,
Yeah,
how did you handle the hype? Because, like, this is a wild raid. This is not anything. This is a really wild. So, how did you handle this?
that was wild, bro. It was crazy because like in that moment, like during that rise up, it was like one of those things where all of us knew that like, okay, we're about to launch on console. It's gonna be cross-play. Like Splitgate's about to be available for the world. Like we all knew it was gonna be crazy, but I don't think anybody expected that it was gonna be as insane as it ended up being with like all the new players that came in. I was one of the biggest streamers in Splitgate during that time, so it was like kind of like perfect, like at the front of the storm, on the front of the wave. But like, bro, that to me, that like during that entire time, that raid, when that happened too, like the only thing going through my mind that whole time was like how Splitgate as a whole went from being that 50 to 80 average player based game back in the day that we all loved, that we all thought was gonna blow up one day, to like hundred thousands of players. Like it went from nothing to there. It was more of just a win for everybody in the Splitgate family too. It was a win for obviously everybody in like my community and everything too. But aside from that, it was like we got the game that we loved to blow up, and it's like finally here. Everybody gets to experience it. It was hype, but also on the other hand, it was like that what I was saying earlier, where it was like it just felt really lucky in the sense that like it was perfect timing, being in the right place at the right time, that type of thing. Because you could stream every day, make content, post on every single platform. You can do all that regularly, and like nothing happens. That happens to a lot of people, bro. That's this industry. It sucks, but it's like the reality of it. But like being in a position like that, it was like very like it was surreal, bro. Like I would turn off my cam sometimes, go outside, just look up at the sky. I'm like, bro, what the hell is even happening right now? Like it was a trip, but it was a big W for everybody involved, including like Splitgate. It was cool, even though now, like obviously, it's like kind of like died down a bit. the game itself, it deserved that. It deserved that a lot. And hopefully, like with this next one coming out, like it'll be hype again.
At this point, Splitgate is well past its peak, but it's been out for quite a long time. Like, I first noticed it through a Summit stream, but how did you find out about it? Because you've been playing it since way back.
Bro, that was way back. Like when Summit played, bro, it was a time when there was like barely like hundreds, like maybe 100 to 200 players, something like that. But bro, in my first fucking thing video, in my first Splitgate video, that's my like I don't know if it's my opening clip, but it's like one of the few like intro clips where I killed Summit in there, and it was like his reaction, his like thing to it. And it was so hype seeing that, because I was like, bro, if Summit's playing this game right now, that means that there's some kind of potential, something that he sees that on a large scale, it might take off. Like I had some kind of like understanding of that. But it was like, bro, we're talking 2019-ish, around that era. It was like in beta. I think it was in closed beta. It was something like that. But my friends ended up telling me, bro, it's Connor. Shout out to Connor Shinobi. Bro, he messages me. He's like, Mike, listen, there's this FPS out. It's hit scan. It has portals, and it's like Halo, but it's like super fast paced. You need to try it out. I was like, wait, what? Like I'm thinking like it's gonna be a clunky game. There's no way they make portals work right. Like it's impossible. Like you're not gonna expect it to work. But bro, we get on. There's no like we can't find a game or anything. We make a custom lobby. We're playing customs with 8 people we know. We're just playing free for all, just fighting each other. And I was like, dude, this is something weird. Like this is special, bro. This isn't like every other game that's out. This feels really good. And then using the portals and like moving around with that made me realize, I was like, this feels like that next step past what every other game is doing, where they just add jetpacks or they add like new like futuristic guns. They're 20 years in the future. Like they add a slide jump you can do now. Like it was something actually genuinely different. So once I played it back then, I was like, dude, this game, 100%, this is it. Like this is gonna be it. I'm gonna stick to this game. And I would play that game a lot, bro. I'd play that game for like I had 24-hour streams, 30-hour streams I've had on that. Well, the 30-hour was on launch, but I had a 24-hour stream back before console launch, bro. No other game, like there isn't one game that I could do that with. I don't have the attention span for that. So it's basically like it proved to me back then that you could get on, play forever, have fun, and it's something special based on what I saw like from Summit or other people that would play it or get a glimpse of it, their reaction, what it would be. So I was like, dude, this game, it's going to be something good. I met all the people there, the people behind the scenes, the people at 1047. Shout out to them. But yeah, bro, it was like from back then, I just knew it was going to be something special, is going to take off. And bro, they do console launch, takes off, whatever. They got $100 million. Like after all that, we see that we're like, okay, dude, like that's game set. It doesn't matter. This game's done now. Like, bro, 100 mil. The next game is going to come out. Imagine what they're going to do for that, bro. With $100 million.
So Splitgate is obviously an insane game with like super unique mechanic. It was something that was like truly special when it released, and I obviously grinded the hell out of that game and played so many hours, put so many hours into it. And this game being this mechanical, I want to know, who is your top 3 Splitgate players?
Top 3 Splitgate players. Damn, bro, you're gonna put me on the spot, huh?
I'm putting you on the spot.
Um, Top 3 Splitgate players. I think if you look at all the players ever, I'm not gonna make like a top 3 or try to figure out like the order and all that, but I can say for sure towards the end of it, um, between Woodham, App, and I'm gonna go with probably Jalen. Like those 3 were insane. Like I'll probably throw K Jules in there too, just because that guy was like from beginning to end, that guy was just like he wasn't one of the newer players that came in, like Jalen, App there, and Woodham. They came a bit later. Jules was dominant from the beginning, and like that guy's map knowledge was there too, aside from just mechanical skill and stuff. But I'd say between those guys, they were just very dominant. Whatever match they were going to be in, if they're on the other team, they're going to perform. Guaranteed every single time. So I'm gonna have to go with them. I'm not gonna put them in order, but those guys were sick.
Bro, I played all of those guys in solo queue, and I remember it was hell, man. Like these guys were definitely top tier.
They were insane, bro. I had the unlucky bracket in the last 250K, the 250K tournament. We played against T1, bro. T1 knocked us down with App in them, bro. App, Jalen, like those guys were nuts, man. They were very, very good.
Yeah, this is true because I want to know that even though Splitgate was small, it had like real orgs, like T1 orgs.
Yeah. Huge orgs, bro. Tier one orgs, they got involved.
Obviously, since we're talking about Splitgate, I want to know, what do you expect from Splitgate 2? And do you have some information because you're kind of an insider in this?
Bro, Split 2 is gonna be really the main thing that they've said so far, at least publicly, is that for sure it's gonna be a first person shooter again. It's gonna have portals for sure, 100%. And it's gonna be on Unreal Engine 5. So it's gonna be next generation looking. It's not gonna be something like, it looks the exact same. It's gonna look like definitely look better. And then aside from that, also like I don't know this for sure, but it's something based on conversations I've had that I have the impression of is that they might maybe adjust how the portals work and how the gameplay in general works. I don't know if how they're going to adjust movement, how they're going to change all of that, and the movement speed, and in general, like how the movement tech is going to be in general. But like I know that the main problem they had before was that the portals created such a high skill ceiling that if you're playing against somebody that really knows the portal system and you don't know what's going on, you can have 8 people on your team and you're not going to get a kill, right? So it has that type of dynamic where it's like, okay, raw aim itself or raw mechanics outside the portals without understanding the portals doesn't get you that far, but like it is also the best part about the game, in my opinion. That was my
Yeah.
favorite part of the game. Like the shooting itself, without it, like no portals, it's not like it's whatever, bro. It's like anything else,
It
But with the portals, it's like that's what makes it special. But then how can you tune that to where it's still in the game, but you're not getting destroyed as much if you're not a good player? I don't know. A lot of people have mentioned like portal cooldown, like
yeah.
maybe having portal cooldowns. There have been talks of maybe having there could be abilities in the game, maybe like a lot of things are options. They've talked about everything as being like everything's on the table. We don't have anything off the table. And with 100 mil, bro, like you can pretty much do anything.
They
And
have the
behind the
budget.
scenes, bro, they have so many new hires. Like their company grew so much since back then when Splitgate 1 was launched.
Yeah.
So like they're an actual like legit huge company now. Like they have people working for them that were working for like 2K, bro. And like for EA, the biggest people there work for Splitgate now. That's their main community guy now. If you look at their community manager that they hired, that guy was literally working for EA before doing their 2K shit. And we're talking about one of the biggest games in like the world right now when it comes to like and sport games. People play that more than any other sport game, bro. So they're getting people like that. They're getting devs that are like from the best games, from Halo, from Call of Duty. They have people from everywhere, bro. So like
I
that combined with their leadership, I think they have a good chance to make this game blow up. I don't think it's going to be launching like obviously not like this year. Hopefully they'll release more info on when that'll be a thing. I know that they said for sure we'll know more information one way or another in this upcoming year. So we'll see what's happening then. But I'm hopeful, bro.
I'm
I'm
I'm,
hopeful.
I'm also hopeful.
Yeah. I think
Like
that game can save FPS if they do it right. There's a chance that game
truly,
just saves everything. Yeah. There's a
truly,
legitimate chance.
truly. And to transition into just obviously Spaghetti, you mentioned earlier the 250K tournament,
Mm.
but you competed in a lot of things, right? And Boom TV, the NFL thing as well. A lot of things. I wanted to start with Boom TV though, and like the Code Red, the Fortnite one, the Blood Hunt one. What is it like, right? Because all of these games, especially Fortnite, I feel like because you played it before, but you kind of came back to it. Like, what is it like playing with the best, right? What is it like competing in a setting where you're in a game and it's best of the best that's there, and you're there too, and you just have to make the best out of it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, with these types of tournaments, especially like you said, the Fortnite one recently, which was, bro, it's so big that you're facing the biggest names in the industry, right?
Yep.
So it's like in those types of environments, everybody's game, aside from just like strategy and stuff, their mechanics, everybody's mechanics are on point. So it's like everyone you're fighting is like the most cracked person you're gonna fight. They're hitting every shot. You're not, so you have to basically play as good as you could possibly play always in those types of environments, and you are fighting the best players. But Fortnite, it was weird for me because back in the day, I played in the World Cup qualifiers, like back in we're talking like
Yep.
season
That's
8 and 9,
yeah.
chapter 1, like way back, bro. So in those, like I was decent. I was playing builds back. It was only builds back then.
Yep.
So I was pretty good. I wasn't like the best, but I was decent. You know, my aim was more of my strong suit compared to my builds and my edits. But then over time, like I stopped playing Fort, so my mechanics with builds and stuff got really like shaky. So like right now, like bro, it's not where it should be compared to a lot of these guys for builds and edits. But because they have no builds now, that recent Boom TV, it
Yep.
was like a 25K, I think. It
Yeah.
was no builds, and so bro, I could just rely on my aim. You know what I mean? My teammate, shout out to Vert, that dude he knows the game well, so like he knows the drops, where to go, rotate, all that. So I could kind of focus more on my aiming and stuff. But bro, like you're fighting against people, you're seeing, okay, bro, that's clicks right there. You know, that's Booga. Booga literally won a 3 mil Fortnite tournament, and I'm beaming the guy to. You get what I'm saying? It's weird. It's a surreal feeling. But also on the other end, like when I'm in those matches and I'm fighting these guys, I'm like, okay, bro, like my aim is honestly there. It's definitely there, so I can beam these guys. They're nothing special outside of like
Yep.
they're just big names. They'll hit their shots guaranteed, but like they're not gods. You know what I mean? That's what those types of situations made me realize. And bro, speaking of clicks and Booga in that Fortnite one, we tied them. Me and Vert tied
Yep.
Booga and clicks, bro. I think we got 10th place tied with them. But we had better placement, so technically we were like a little higher.
You know, technically,
You know, we were
you
tied.
guys are 9.5. They're 10.
Yeah, 9.5. But yeah, bro, it's insane. Obviously it's an honor. It's one of those things where you see people, like I was saying back in the day, 2018, like I was seeing Tfue, Ninja, those guys like playing in those NFL TNG events. Ninja was in that event, bro. You know, fighting against Ninja, like it's literally Ninja, bro. You know, it's literally
It's
Ninja.
Ninja.
It's Ninja, bro. And it's like it's very cool. It's very humbling at the same time. It's one of those things where you're like, dude, like it's wild to have gotten to this point, but also it's one of those you have to just sit back and like enjoy the moment, like appreciate it, you know,
Yep.
because it's like not too many people get those opportunities. But playing in those settings, bro, it's the greatest thing ever. I love competing no matter what game it is, bro. It doesn't matter. Blood Hunt, Fortnite,
Yep.
Splitgate, you know, it doesn't matter what game it is. At the end of the day, like I'm down to compete, you know.
Because like I know a lot of these names like Vert, people like Vert is like he I don't know if he won an FNCS, but at least he got
He did,
close.
yeah.
Yeah,
He
he
won an
did. Yeah,
FNCS.
he
He
won an
won it
FNCS.
before that tournament too. It was before
Yeah,
he was, bro. He's really good.
like
He knows the game really, really well,
Vert
like
is
knowledge wise.
insane. Vert is
So
insane.
good, bro.
And the people that were in those games, I know I didn't watch the full tournament, but I watched a couple games, and like you know they were on their stuff. They were trying
Yeah.
as hard as
Well,
they could.
Kanata and Thing won. I forgot
Uh,
the Acorn. Kanata
Acorn,
and
yep,
Acorn won. They're both, bro. They win everything now. Like
yeah,
this has
yep.
been
There's
their era, you know. But yeah, it was like it's some sickos in there, man. Like obviously, you put me in a game with those guys with builds and edits, they're gonna destroy me. Those mechanics are on another level than mine right now. But when it's just aim, obviously, no builds gives you the
yep.
opportunity to just fight people head up, you know, and that's the beauty of it.
And because you've competed on LAN as well, and
Yeah.
like the LAN experience compared to the online experience, like what can you say that's different? You know, is there something that's actually different? Do you feel a certain type of way on LAN that you don't on online? Is there more stress, less stress?
Yeah, bro. So like this last one, the NFL event, it was,
Yep.
bro. We're talking 5 weeks leading up to it, so there is a lot of like built up, like a lot of like anxiety, you know, adrenaline building up over the weeks. 500,000 people, I think, were the initially like signed up for that. So going from that to you're like on a final week, you're like they're flying everyone out to LA. You know, it's like, bro, it's a huge event. So it's like that alone outside the playing itself is very like it's a pressure thing, you know, like it's like it puts a lot of pressure on you. But like the biggest comparison for me, like growing up playing sports, it was the same as like you don't have a normal basketball game, you're going to like a tournament, you know, like you're gonna have to
Yep.
be there, the lights are on, and you have to perform on the court. Everybody's gonna be watching, you know, it's like that type of pressure builds up. So there's that side of it, and then obviously you're not on your home setup, bro. It's not your PC. They have some random ass whack V1 death adders that you're using, the bulky wired death adder, the first generation
Holy.
ones, full-sized keyboards, bro. The Razer Black Widow keyboards. We're playing on like some random ass IKEA mouse pad. Shout out to IKEA. I heard they make decent mouse pads.
Apparently.
But like, yeah, bro, it was some random mouse pad. You know, I don't know what it was, but yeah, that side of it is like very like that's a variable, right? Like aside from just playing and competing like you would at home.
Yeah.
So there's that side of it, but when you're actually there and like the game actually starts, it's the same thing, bro. At the end of the day, you're loading into a game. You're competing against other people that also want to win, that are good. You know they're good, but you just have to perform and play really, really well. It's like you got to play the best you've ever played. So you got to kind of just fight through the pressure. It's definitely different though. LAN is like the LAN at that Fortnite event, even though
Yeah.
250, like it wasn't as much as that 250K on the line. Maybe it was like bigger as like an overall event, but like the monetary side wasn't. But it felt 100 times crazier than that 250K did, you know? It was a lot of pressure, bro. But it was also like you're sitting there, there's like Nick A30 standing right there, Jerome, like all these NFL stars. So that alone was like, that's like, okay, bro, this place is like, we're in some crazy company. You know, it's cool. But also the multiplier on performing well goes up. You're like, bro, you're in front of the world. You got all the way to this point. Everyone that supported you, you're like, okay, like I made it this far. Like I'm doing it for everybody in a way. Everyone that supports, you know, like it's like for all, we got this far. You know, it's like one of us, one of the people we know got this far. That's all that matters. And that's how I saw it. So I feel like more than anything else, I had that responsibility to just not disappoint everybody. You know, and obviously you can't in that moment. You've trained for that. You do this like regularly enough to where you're not gonna flop at an event like that, you know.
Yep. Usually, what I like to think is, if you got there, that means you can get further. Like,
Yeah,
what's stopping you, right? You got all the way to the finals, all the way through all these qualifiers. Like, you could definitely make it further. And like you say, it's like a team thing. You know, it's one of us that got it. Is
yeah,
definitely
bro.
is definitely probably like that it feels, because just as much as the player itself, everyone that helped around is probably feeling the same thing, and as
Yeah,
they're
they're a
watching the
part of it.
games,
Like
they're
actively a part of it, bro.
they're
You know,
hoping
that's the
for it.
cool thing. It's
And
like basically like you're saying though, it's like when you know all those other people that like contributed or involved, you're like, bro, I also have a responsibility. It's like I need to perform. Otherwise, like it's for all of us. We're doing this shit, but it's also like I gotta live up to what everyone expects. You know, it's expectation thing, but also my own expectations at the end of the day. Like, bro, I gotta do my job. I gotta do what I came here to do. You know, it's like the tournament at the end of the day, bro. It's the same thing. You show up, you gotta just like represent your name well. You know.
yep. And talking about all this, you got here. You did say this. Your strong point was aiming, right? I wanted to know, because I really don't. I tried to search and I couldn't find. How did you get into aiming? Like, what got you into aim trainers? You're a metafight coach, so you're really into aiming, and
Yeah.
I want to know how did you get here?
So for aiming specifically, like I started on PC when I was a kid, like with I played Quake back then, Unreal Tournament, Counter
Oh,
Strike
yep.
1.6. I wasn't good, but like I was a kid, bro. I was a kid on PC. I was like, I want to get good. I was saying this yesterday actually. I would get into like CS lobbies and like different types of games like that in that era and be like 2 and like 30, 2 and 40, you know, like just getting murked, every life getting farmed. I was like, bro, I got to figure out what these guys are doing. What's different about what they're doing versus I'm doing that they can kill me this consistent and I can't. So like over the years, practice, you know, like I switched over to console, which is crazy during high school, which was like an interesting era during like Black Ops 2, Modern Warfare 2, Halo 3 during that
Yep.
era. So I played a lot of console. I played like competitive back then. We would do game battles and shit. We would do
Okay.
like online,
Yeah.
like back then it was literally like you would go online. It wasn't like wagers, but it was like you would go online like for game battles and you would set up a match and you'd all load into the custom and play. Like we did that a lot on Black Ops 2 and on COD Ghosts. We did it on Ghosts too. But it was like that type of thing. And then after the whole console thing kind of died down, I went back into PC gaming. I had a laptop to start, bro. It was terrible. I would connect it to my like TV. It was like a keyboard, big ass keyboard. It was the
Connected to
same
your
Razer
TV.
Black Widow keyboard, bro. The ultimate keyboard. Big ass keyboard. I had a G502, the brick,
Oh,
you know,
yep,
on
yep,
my
yep,
right
yep,
hand, the
yep. The
giant
brick,
brick. I started with that,
the
but it was
huge brick.
connected to my
Everybody started
TV.
with that.
Yeah, I think so too. With the unlocked scroll wheel, bro, the fidget spinner.
Yep.
But yeah, dude, that's where I started. It was just like it went from there to like I got pretty good at Fortnite back then. I would play with my friends, and I was like I was the gamer of the friend group in the sense that like I
Yeah.
had played games and I was usually the best one in the friend group of the like whatever game we would play. So even when I was playing on a laptop, I was still doing really good. I was carrying, but I was playing on like 60 FPS locked on a laptop that was like used as an HDMI device to a TV.
Holy
You know, that's
shit.
literally the setup I started on. So
Holy.
bro, it went from that to my friend got a full PC. I played at his house. This is around like 2017,
Okay.
2018, 2017, 2018. I play at my friend's house on his Alienware full build. He had a 1080 back then. It was insane. It was the best card,
That was
1080,
the best.
1080 Ti.
Yep.
best shit you could get. I played on his shit. He was getting like 144 FPS. I was like, bro, what? Like, this is what my game is supposed to look like. Like, this is insane. Like, I'm able to actually see the characters moving, this, that. So I was like, okay, there's potential to this.
Yeah.
I get my actual PC, and once I got my PC, I pretty much saw it in the same way as I did basketball back in the day, with like shooting around, practicing my jump shot. I was like, bro, I'm gonna train my aim like I trained my jump shot to get it to where like exactly like physical exercise. I used to be a thing back in the day. I coached basketball too for a while. I coached it was like first grade up to fifth grade basketball for kids. So I was very into like the regiment style approach of training and all of that. So I started training a lot. I got pretty good. My aim was decent. Like when I started out, like I wasn't that crazy back then. There was only Kovacs really. There wasn't anything outside of Kovacs. So like that, it was pretty much the extent of my aim training was Kovacs and playing playing Quake and shit back in the day. But like, bro, not well, like not playing a lot, just playing because I was like, there's a way to train. Like I can train my aim a little bit, mostly through Kovacs. That was the main way I aim trained. And then after that happened, I started playing a lot of Splitgate. Once Splitgate happened, there was like this like group of like very dedicated competitive players in Splitgate at that time. A lot of them still played at the end too, but they were very into aim training, and they had like we had a spreadsheet that had everybody's aim training scores in the different, back then, bro, it was crazy. Voltaic was only on spreadsheets. So we would have like a thing where we'd have the entire benchmark, and it would highlight whoever had the highest score from the group in that category from everybody that was there. So it was kind of like a back and forth thing. And then it started from that, and then aim training heavily, bro. I just tried to get it to where I mastered it, like I mastered basketball, like jump shots and shit. And then after that, it got into when Splitgate blew up and it became really popular. I started training a lot, and I got messaged by the people at Aim Lab. So they basically wanted to reach out and say like, listen, like we've seen like your videos, we've seen like that you're one of the bigger streamers and you play Pro League in Splitgate, and we needed to pick 2 pros from Splitgate to sponsor. So they ended up picking me and K Jules back then. So we had to like basically make our own playlist, like our own like Aim Lab sponsored playlist type thing. So basically for like a few months straight, I was just figuring out, okay, like how can we most optimally train for a game like Splitgate? It's not hard to aim in Splitgate. It's actually pretty easy to aim in Splitgate. But training specifically for that, I made a bunch of scenarios to put in Aim Lab from that. And then from moving on from there, it kind of became an addiction with Aim Lab instead of Kovacs. I mean, bro, to be honest, like even being sponsored by Aim Lab back in the day, like there's really there isn't a difference outside of like the little nuanced perks. Obviously, you have like the AI information you can get from Aim Labs. Kovacs has so many more scenarios because it had its map. They came out around the same time. I think Aim Labs even came out a little bit before around there, but the map creator came out earlier for Kovacs. So Kovacs started getting a lot of its maps. So there's so much variety on there. There's some scenarios that I go on Kovacs just to play because it's on Kovacs. Like it's not, you can't find that scenario.
Like Kovacs is just the OG.
It's the OG, the classic, you know, like the default, the good classic, tried and true. Like it's the class. And then you have the new ones coming out. Like there's other ones too. Like people talk about Aim Beast. People talk about these other aim trainers. I've heard even good things about Aim Beast. I heard that it's really, it's good for input. There's no input delay. There's no weird graphical issues. Like it's just solid. But going back to that, it's just like overall, it's just what you practice. You're practicing, right? So as long as you have good guidance and you're practicing the right thing, if you put yourself in that environment, you're going to improve. So once that started, like, bro, I was like, okay, like now that I'm doing this regularly and training it like I trained my basketball and coaching myself, at least back then how I did basketball. I was like, you know, I'm going to start getting into doing coaching for not only FPS, for Splitgate at that time. It was very like everyone was trying to get training for Splitgate because they're trying to be good, learn the game, get up to par, all that. So I did it for Splitgate, and I also did it for Aim Lab and any type of aim coaching, all of that. I got the thing on Metafy, the accreditation or whatever it's called for the Metafy coaching. But it basically just came from like what I did before in sports, and I was like, I want to implement it to aim training because it's the same thing, bro. It's hand-eye motor coordination, right? It's a motor function you're training. So I see it in that same way, and that was my approach into getting into coaching.
And basketball, how much time? Because I obviously didn't know this, but basketball, how much time did you play basketball for? Like, do you still play?
Bro, I was insane. I had a 40-inch vert. I could do
holy.
I have a video of my friend doing, you know, a bicycle kick, the soccer over your back kick. My friend does that, catch it off a lob and dunk it. Like I was getting up, bro. Like I was flying. High school, I went to Division 1 high school. In CIF, we were like Division 1, I think AAA or AA. I forgot which one, but it was in Division
Yep.
1. I was averaging like over 30 points a game. Like it was like 31 point something during my sophomore and junior year.
Holy.
But I was really fucking good. There's like 4,000 or 5,000 people at my school. When I was definitely like, obviously I'm tall, so I have the advantage because of that. Cause I'm like 6'3", 6'4". But bro, I was a guard too. I wouldn't play like down low. I was very fast.
I was just about to ask what position, but I got it there.
I played point most of the time, but we had a really good point guard, this sick fuck point guard. So I'd usually play shooting guard, either the 2 or the 3, bro. Sometimes they would move me to the 3, but my jump shot was insane. I could drive in. And what's crazy is, bro, the reason why I was actually as good as I was outside of training, talent, all that bullshit, bro, I broke my right hand when I was like 12, I think, or 13. For like an entire summer and winter, I had no right arm. And back then, bro, was when I was a sick fuck training, bro. In my backyard, I had a hoop. I would put the trash cans in different like areas, and I would cross the trash cans, shoot from different areas, like get it to where it was like its own like drill thing. I did an entire summer and winter with only left hand like that, bro. Shooting lefty, going left. My left hand was stronger than my right. So it got to the point where when I was dunking, doing all of that, I would push to my left more often than my right. But when I was creating shots for myself, I was going to the right because I'm shooting right-handed. So I was like pretty much on any side of the court, I was a threat. But that was my first love. I wanted to make the NBA before I wanted to get into anything gaming related, bro. That was my number one. Like that was my first.
You were born to be a competitor.
Bro, I was a competitor since I started with soccer when I was a kid. Like I played soccer for like 8 years and then got into basketball after that. Bro, in high school, there was like a bunch of shit that I went through, a bunch of random stuff. I had a random autoimmune issue that came up. It was like a health thing that I had. So once that happened, my high school just went fully down. I wasn't going to school. I was doing class shit. I wasn't doing anything.
Yeah.
But like, bro, basketball was the main concern. I didn't even care about the school, but I couldn't practice. In the morning, like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. practices, I couldn't make it anymore. So when that happened, I was like, bro, you know what? Like fate led me in another direction. I mean, I was pissed at that time. I was like, bro, I'm not going to accomplish my dream. But guess what? I went a different path and now I'm doing it in esports. It's a whole nother like category. But then, bro, if you told me back then that I'm going to be in an NFL Fortnite event, finals and fucking after 500,000 people, bro, to me, that's cooler than the NBA, bro. That's the equivalent. It's on the level of what I'm doing in this industry. It's a different industry, obviously, but this shit's international, bro. This isn't just a United States thing with the NBA. This is like worldwide type shit. So it was like one of those things where it's like one door closes, another opens. You just gotta stay driven and keep pushing, bro. That's bro. Funny story, actually. I was missing school so much during that era that there's this one day, bro. I don't go to school. I stay in and I'm sleeping. I'm asleep. It's like 11:30, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, right? It's like noon. I hear some sounds, bro. I'm asleep. No one's supposed to be home. I'm hearing sounds from my room. Talking, conversations going on back and forth. I'm like, bro, what the fuck is this? Bro, I move my covers. I used to sleep like with my covers over me. I move my covers over. There are these 2 girls in my room talking to each other, going through my drawers, and my window is wide open, bro. They broke into my house while I was in there in my room. Yes, bro. They broke into my house. They got into my room from my window, diagonal from my bed across the room. They break in. They're going through my shit. They don't realize I'm in the bed, bro. They don't realize I'm in the bed. So, bro, I get up. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing in my house? They trip out. They're like, what the fuck? It was 2 girls, bro. One of them is like, they're both my age at that time. Like, they looked like 15, 16. I'm in high school, 15, 16 at that point. 2 girls. One's like a very like petite, small girl.
Yeah.
The other one's like a fucking giant, like big ass fucking woman, bro. My age, but she looks grown. Okay. Bro, she runs. The big one jumps out the window, gets out. The little one jumps out. I reach through, grab her, pull her, and carry her back through the window, put her on the ground, and held her there. And I'm sitting there waiting. My neighbors have 2 movers, bro. Yep. They're moving. Those 2 movers are watching what's happening in between my house and their house through the window. I'm holding her, pulling her. I'm like, call the fucking police. They're breaking into my house. They're confused. Bro, I call the police. The police show up. I find out that those movers end up calling my neighbors and tell them what's happening and told them to call me. So they call me after the cops even showed up. They arrest the girl that broke into our house, that the one that I caught. They find the other girl later on, eventually, through descriptions of bro. They robbed 3 other houses. Mine was the 4th one. They robbed 3 other houses before mine. They had bags of iPads, laptops, everything. They had knives with them and they had bleach with them. The houses before mine, they cut up the curtains. They threw bleach on the couches, on the carpets, on all this shit, bro. Everything. And they look like, bro, they look like my classmates. They look like literally people I see at school, literally in my class, my same age. Looks like they're from my school, bro. Literally my classmates. So they get arrested, all this shit. But bro, that's because I missed school, because I was missing school half the time. I was half the days of the week I wouldn't go. Because of that, we caught the people that were gonna rob our house.
That's insane, bro. That's wild, though.
Bro, I'm gonna send you the article. They have an article.
Oh, they haven't. Bro, I'll put it up on screen for sure.
Yeah. You just have to blur out the addresses road it's on. But other than that, it's like I have the screenshot of it. But yeah, bro, it's like one of those things where it's like in the moment you might think it's like a bad thing, but look how many good things come from it. You know, it's a temporary hurdle, but a long-term blessing.
That's insane, though. Getting robbed, and not only getting robbed, but getting robbed while you're inside the room.
Bro, getting robbed while I'm in the house.
Crazy.
In my room. They break in through my room. So my bed was in the back left corner. Okay. Across my bed is the door leading out of the room. And then to the right side, diagonally across the room, is the window on the right side of the room. And that's where they broke in from. But I was under my bed and they just didn't realize I was there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, bro, they robbed 3 other houses. We ended up giving all their the other people's stuff back. They ended up like coming to my house after, like talking to me, this, that. But yeah, she was tripping out, bro. Like she was kind of shaking before the cops were coming. So I was like, all right, like, let me get you some water, this, that. She was tripping out, bro. Like tripping. I felt bad to some extent, but I was like, bro, you're breaking.
I mean,
like, please let me go, please. I was like, bro, you broke into my house. The cops are coming right now. Hell no, you're not getting away.
There's no going out. You should have thought of that before.
You broke into my house. This isn't some joke, bro. But yeah, bro, it was an insane experience.
Getting broken in. Who can imagine? that is crazy. From getting broken in to becoming an esports competitor.
Yep.
That has to be the title of when they make a Machiavelli story.
I'm gonna send you the thing. I'm gonna send you the article too. Perfect. So you see the full article. That would be perfect to have up with that, because it's so funny. Bro, the article says something like, it's like the resident heard them breaking in through the house and got up and confronted them and was able to subdue one of them or some shit. It's something like that. It's crazy, bro.
That's actually fucking insane. Yeah, and up to more regular stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm getting broken into. You are a model, right? You modeled for Champion.
Champion Esports when they did their AIM Lab thing, their AIM Lab collab.
The funny thing is, I didn't know about this. I think because when you posted this, I didn't see your post, and I just seen the AIM Lab post, and I was like, wait, that's Mikey. What is Mikey doing here? And I was like,
what the hell? If you go to their merch right now, I'm pretty sure if you go to AIM Lab's merch right now, I'm not sure 100%, but I think I'm still on their front page. I'm pretty sure.
I wouldn't be surprised, because I went after that.
I'm gonna send you the link right now. Bro, but yeah, that was a crazy experience. The way that happened was I was sponsored by AIM Lab for a while.
Yep.
And they saw that I lived in LA. So they randomly reached out saying, like, not related to the AIM Lab sponsorship. They're just like, hey, like, we're going to do like a brand new merch launch, and it's going to be with Champion. So we're going to do like this Champion, like full line of merch, and it's going to be promoted everywhere. And it's going to be like our main merch, basically. And since you're in LA, are you down to do the thing? Are you down to model? It's going to be a 6-hour gig, and you're going to be paid X amount, which was a shit ton of fucking money. By it. It was like to put it into perspective, it's like equivalent of like the entire 1 month sponsorship amount for what AIM Lab was paying at that time, was just for that 6 hours. So I was like, dude, 100%. I'm
take
down.
that.
Like, I was like, I've never done anything like this, but you know, like I'm very down. So it's a very crazy experience. It was in like the Hollywood Hills. It was overlooking LA and shit. So it was like this house that they had rented out, or like an Airbnb or something. So we go there, and it was like just like, bro, it was crazy. They ask you like what type of food you like, this, that. They take your order for you, so they'll have food there and stuff. Bro, I walk in, they had
Holy.
this makeup whole crew, and they're gonna do my makeup, bro. I was
Yep.
like, what the fuck? I've never ever experienced this full, bro. She's like, oh, you got you. It's gonna be real quick, whatever. Like she did some bullshit.
Yep.
Done. I go over, they're doing like a bunch of unboxing. You have to unbox it, get your reaction. They're recording it. Then after that, it was just like a professional level, just photo shoot. That I did that with Jalan. Bro, shout out to Jalan. She's a
Yep.
legend. Bro, she was like, I think back then she was more into Valorant and like IRL stuff, but now she's
Yep.
doing more IRL content type stuff. But they basically reached out to her too because I think she was also involved with AIM Lab to some extent or something like that. I think
Yeah.
she knew the partnership lead or something like that. But she works with a lot of companies like Coca-Cola, like big names, Disney, like all that type of
Holy.
stuff. So it was me and her only, but we did like the whole photo shoot, and it was like a 6-hour thing, professional level, like the lights, you know, the white boxes, this, that, the crazy cameras, like all that shit. Bro, it was very cool, very awesome experience. I got to model for that, and I got like they just gave us all the merch, and like they still have that shit on the website, which to this day, like it's the coolest thing to me. I use that for my like media kit and stuff. I'll get that picture and post it. Like
Yep.
very, very proud of
No,
that.
I mean that's absolutely sick. Like being on the front page of a website is already sick, but being on the front page of a website with a collab with Champion, like
Yeah,
that's a big brand.
yeah,
Champion
bro.
Champion's not just a random brand. That's a pretty big brand, and it's insane that like you can go from from like gaming all the way to modeling. Like this
Bro, yeah.
industry is it's so big and like it's growing and how do you call it? I don't know how to say this, but people don't even realize how big esports is getting. I feel like
Yeah.
people don't realize it because this industry is growing fast, dude. 10 years ago, talking about having like a LAN tournament with like millions of dollars, people wouldn't have believed it. Now
Who'd have
there's
laughed?
every
Yeah,
every
bro.
every other month or every month even there's a new tourney. No matter what, it's like League, it's Rainbow, it's Splitgate, it's whatever. Like Fortnite, there's millions of dollars just going around everywhere for this, and you
I
have
heard
real sponsors.
25K a week for Fortnite on just their online like cash cups. Like
Oh yeah,
every
yeah, yeah.
week they're
Every
putting
single
20. Bro, that's insane. That's insane. Online. Like you just go in the lobby and do that, you know?
and it's open tournaments too. And well, I mean, while we're there, I don't know if you have because you've played in I guess multiple types of tournaments, but I always wondered from people that are that are kind of insiders, people that actually play comp, and like, do you like the open style that Fortnite kind of brought up, and Splitgate kind of had that too as well? It was pretty
Yeah.
open. You just put your team got in and you can get it because I feel like people are slowly starting to get away from like the COD style of things or League
Yeah.
where it's franchised, and I think it's a really good thing, dude. It's leading up to like players that don't really have much, they're not really known, and they have a chance to just like pop off and get
Yeah.
known. It's like insane.
That's like the open bracket style has that weird like that it has that allure of like, bro, any random that's like, let's say they're really good, they've been training really hard and they're good, they're really good. They have a chance to go up and like legitimately put their name out there. And
Yep.
teams and sponsors in general, they might see that guy and be like, okay, like this guy stands out compared to the average other people in that, right?
Yep.
But then you also have certain situations where it's like Splitgate had this issue at the very end where they kind of mixed it up. They did have both, where at first it was just open, completely open, and then towards the
Yep.
end they got it to where it was kind of like qualifiers. Like they had the GC, they had the secondary league,
Yep. I remember
where you would
now.
have to win, get top 4, and then move on to the final. Um, Bro, that's actually what we had to do towards for the big event, the final event. They did it like that. It was
Yep.
2 different tournaments that were pretty much open qualifiers, and then the best 2 teams from both open qualifiers moved on to the 250K. So they kind of like funneled them through. And I kind of see that side of it too, because then the main teams that are guaranteed, they get some kind of a benefit or reward for placing as high as they do. So there is some
Yep.
kind of like there is that seeding system where if you're good enough, like if you're T1, you're winning everything, you
Yeah.
probably shouldn't be playing in the qualifiers, you know? So there's that side of it, but like the main allure, or why I think it's so good is because like you said, it's like you give anybody the chance to do it. And it's really cool to do that. But then like Fortnite, as right now, as a good example of why it could also be an issue. you're seeing how there's these like I forgot their names, but there are these like a bunch of kids that are just blatantly rage hacking in
Oh
Fortnite Splash Cup.
yeah.
Yeah, so it's like these kids are getting by, and it's like they don't have anything to lose because it's not like they're putting their name up, right? It's not like they built something up to that point that they're wagering. So they have something to where their name means something, you know? So that's the downside of an open system where it's like anybody can join also. It's the good thing and the bad thing. Because then you have those kids that are in the same pool as the people that are big names that should be there that are getting griefed sometimes, you know, by these people.
Yep.
Even in DreamHack, you saw in DreamHack Fortnite, one of the kids were selling the custom lobby codes to cheaters, and the cheaters got in. So that's the downside. Well, I guess DreamHack, I guess even in that situation, it wasn't open, right? And it still happened. So there is still
that part was closed.
there is still. So you got to be careful. You can't be giving out codes like that are public. You got to think through the process. But as long as you manage that bit a little bit, and like you have it to where that side isn't an issue, you have your main names also secured that they're not going to be impacted by any of the open style stuff. I think it's a good thing because like you're getting the next generation of talent in. And it's not grandfathered in, like it's not gate kept.
I feel like that's a good balance, though. I feel like, you know, the way Splitgate or Overwatch kind of has that type of system where they have their, you know, their tier 1, tier 2. I think that's not bad, as long as you leave a spot for, you know, players that they're not signed but they're very good, and they might not be signed because maybe they don't stream or content really, but they're still competing, and they're still really good players.
Yeah, they're still up.
They're just not, you know, if you're not super entertaining or anything like that, you might just not get that much to viewers.
And bro, then, to be honest, you don't nowadays they kind of want esports people to be a little entertaining on the content side, this, that too. But like, bro, that's not what's important. You're trying to get the best player. So if you're trying to get the best player, sometimes they're going to be that individual that doesn't make content or they're behind the scenes, and you have to be able to scout them. And like, bro, we look at NBA, we look at things. They have AAU basketball. They have the tier 2 leagues like in college that they're scouting, constantly sending scouts to. So having that type of a system or a community is going to be, it's imperative in something like esports. You need that, because without that, it's a gate kept bullshit grandfathered in thing. You're going to leave opportunities for people to be like, oh, that's not really the best player. There's this other guy that's just not allowed to play. You know, like you need to give them the chance of, oh, this guy says he's the best. Let's see how he does. Will he make it to the higher tier? Will he be able to play on par with these best players or be in that type of a category? Some can, some can't, but you're not going to know unless you have that open bracket. And I think that's why you need it, bro. You definitely need something like that, an open system for sure. I like how Fortnite does it with the open in-game bracket. They need to fix their hacker situation.
No, I mean,
that's a whole nother
hacking situation is that's an issue on its own.
But having something to where you can rank up, be the highest rank, and then unlock some kind of an in-game in the actual launcher system or tourney that you can just queue up for, that's really cool. Because that gives even the chance to the kid that can't travel, right? They can't go to a LAN. They can't, even if it is an open bracket, they can't make it there. They can't pay for the travel. They can go online. They can still qualify. And then there are these kids that are posting their placements, top 10, top 20 every week in Fortnite cash ups. They don't stream, like you said, they don't make content, but they're good enough to where they deserve to be looked at. And that's where it's like, these kids deserve to get looked at if they're good enough. If they're actually at that level, pro level, they should be able to compete in that environment and be able to put their skill against the pros.
Yep, I 100% agree right there. 100% agree, and I think that's definitely the way that pretty much all like FPS or TPS or just shooters in general and esports should kind of cater to, where it's not too open to not let, you know, cheater situations or things like that, but it's opened enough that you definitely have a chance if you're a nobody but you're good enough.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about because you talked about modeling a little bit, but I wanted to talk about, you went to TwitchCon, and this is something that actually personally, at least before, I wanted to go to TwitchCon for such a long time. I've never went, right? And how is that? Like, how is the TwitchCon experience?
Last year was insane because, bro, we were just talking about the Splitgate stuff earlier. So when Splitgate had blown up, it had gone like right after that was when TwitchCon happened last year. So we had like a group that was like a group chat, even a Discord chat, like its own server that was just Splitgate people going to TwitchCon. It was like 30 people, bro, just from that group, not even all the other people that you know through online stuff. You know, you're going to meet this, that. So having that to where it was like, bro, I'm about to go meet all these people. I get to kick it with them, just chill, like have a time where we're not playing games, we're not doing all that. We get to just like actually kick it, you know, be in person, like hang out. That's different, bro. It's a different vibe. So when that happened last year, the first time when I met everybody, that first moment when I walked into the convention center, we were like looking for each other. Like I saw the group, I walked up, bro. It was literally like magic. Like everybody was hugging. It was fucking awesome. It was just very like it felt like the people forever. Which is why,
Yep.
like, I always say that, bro. When I say this is like a family, at the end of the day, the reason why I say that is because, well, first of all, with how I am, I'm close to my family, but there are people I've met online that I kick it with regularly that I feel like they're on that level. I'm as close to them as family. And when I went to TwitchCon and met them, that kind of like it confirmed that, to where it's like, bro, these people, doesn't matter that you're not living close. Geographically, we might be distant, but bro, we're family at the end of the day. And that it felt like that, it felt like we left off or we met and it was like we are continuing where we left off. It didn't feel like it was a different thing, It didn't feel like it was like, oh, now we're in person. It felt like, okay, it's amazing. And then, bro, even this year, like we're getting 2 different houses this year, 2 different Airbnbs. One of them is going to be mostly like Splitgate people. They're going to be 18 people in that one house. It's a huge mansion, bro.
I hope content comes out of that.
People, bro. But so yeah, me, Pand, and a few others, we're just gonna get like us 6. We'll get like a separate place close by, but like a place to where we could have our own like little bit.
Where it's a little bit less chaotic.
Yeah, a little less chaotic. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. But like, it's still like I'm so happy for that because now I know like I'm going there. All these people I know that are gonna be there that I hang out, bro. I hang out with them regularly online.
Yeah,
these are people that it's like they're like compared to my IRL friends, they're closer to me. I don't have IRL. I have a few IRL friends that are close to me like that, but it's like they're in that category. So I'm gonna hang out with them. It's gonna be fucking sick. And bro, this year it's like in what 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I think. The next TwitchCon, I got my ticket already. I'm fucking hyped. But it's like it's a beautiful thing, bro. It's just awesome to know that because of internet, Discord, like the way this generation works now in this modern era, geography doesn't mean shit.
Nope.
You can make friends and like be like close with people around the entire globe, and that alone is like it's magic, bro. And TwitchCon proved that it is real. It's the same. It's not any different. It's not like it changes just because you met the person through online. It's the same exact shit. And it's a blessing and a half because, bro, like I said, there was a period of time in my life where like sometimes I just had to be home. I was forced to be home. I had to like stay at. And bro, guess what? It didn't matter because I could hang out with people even at home. I could still do shit even at home. I had options. So I think overall, it's like one of the most amazing things. I think it's a blessing that we're born in this generation, bro. Like we could have been born any time in history, and we were born in the one time where it's actual miracles, like this magic that's happening that we're able to do this type of shit. No, it's cool as fuck, bro. We don't even realize
absolutely insane. Like I think about it sometimes, and in the fact that there is so many people I've met online, and obviously some of them that I went from also like from meeting online to seeing in person, and every time it's always like the first time I was like, damn, what's this gonna be like? You're kind of stressing. You're thinking like, oh, is it gonna be a bit different? Is it and you just arrive and it's there. Like you've been chilling with this person on Discord every day for the past 4 years. You guys know each other like your best friend. Like it's just you just come here and y'all are the same thing, same banter, same jokes. Like it's just the same person. So I feel like it's an insane thing. And even though I'm definitely not gonna go this year, I'm still looking to go to a TwitchCon.
Next year, bro.
I'm still looking to go to a TwitchCon. And
you should definitely go. It's worth it 100%.
I always tell myself
TwitchCon itself, it's not that good. The event isn't that great. The good part is like you said, bro. That's all it is. You're meeting the people that you've kicked it with all this time. That's what it is. The event, like even this year, we got 1-day passes, bro. Everyone got just a Saturday pass. We're gonna go Saturday, see what's up. Maybe play at the fucking LAN over there, do their little tournament thing, and leave. It's not even a real thing. It's like for fun type. It's fun, bro. You go there, you have fun, and you leave. But the rest of it's just Vegas for the weekend with friends. You just kick it.
Yeah, I was about to say the fact that it's Vegas as well. It's like it's lit, bro. You're in Vegas with friends. What do you want more? What do you want more than
wild,
that?
Bro. It's really wild.
No, I'm looking forward. I hope content comes out of this. I hope I get to see either a stream or a video that sums up shit that happened there.
Bro, from what I'm hearing, there might be a boxing match. So there's a chance that. And we've been talking about this for a year about this boxing match. If it happens, I'm streaming the whole thing. It's gonna be like an actual boxing match we're gonna have to go down.
That would
Shout
be
out
insane.
to Ruckus. Shout out to DJ. Maybe they're gonna get down with each other. We'll see what happens.
That would be
But if it
insane.
does, yeah.
That
If
would
not
be
for that, bro, I'm
actually
still gonna be
insane.
posting shit. Just like last year, I'll just post random shit on Twitter, maybe some clips, maybe some photos, whatever's happening,
Sure.
maybe some snippets of what we can show, on
Yep,
stream.
yep.
Yeah.
always,
Should be
always,
hype, though, man.
always gotta check up.
You gotta double
And
check what's
you
on
gotta
camera,
double
bro.
check because obviously, off stream, on stream, there is a difference. And this is the last question I had. This is a special request. I have to say, it's a special Tosa request because I told
I
him.
love that.
I told him he
Toast
was
of
like,
the goat, bro.
Tosa specifically said I need to ask this question. So he wanted to know what was your top 5 of the most talented esport players of all time. Was the top
All
5?
time?
What's the top 5?
Oh my god, that's a tough one, bro. That is such a tough one. I'm gonna throw. Okay, Simple has to be there from Counter Strike just because he's simple.
Yep.
He was like the most sicko player in all of Counter Strike history to the point where like people like at the end of it didn't know like, bro, what's up with it? How's he this good? Like to be able to question whether or not somebody's actually that good is insane.
Yeah.
And then I mean, when we're discussing esports, I guess the best way to do this or handle this wouldn't be based on my personal thing as much as it would be like accolades, right? So you got to look at the best games, the biggest games. What have been the biggest tournaments and who's done the best in those? So like Simple for Counter Strike, I think is like an obvious one.
No,
You
that's
go to
definitely-
Faker, bro. Faker from League of Legends. He played for
He's
SKT1. That guy is like, he's like Michael Jackson. He's literally like the level
He's
of
insane.
fame he has isn't a normal. Bro, he got off the plane at the airport. He got swarmed. I saw this tweet like in the last week. I was like, bro, Faker is still relevant to that degree. Like he's famous, bro. So like, and he's won so much. Like he was known as like the Michael Jordan of League. Like he was just unbeatable. So he's got to be up there for sure. And then other than that, I think when we come to the modern era, like Valorant and shit, like people talk about a lot of people from Valorant, I feel like hasn't been around long enough for us to know whether or not like a player from there is like an esports great. You know what I mean? Like somebody that's like I don't know, man. Like everyone makes memes about it, but you know the whole thing about if you're not good enough for Counter Strike, you go to Valorant. Like
I mean, obviously, but I think
Yeah.
I don't think that's the thing, man. Like, cause it's Valorant especially is, even though personally it's not like, it's not the type. I don't really play Valorant and I don't like it that much because it's not my type. But it's super competitive, dude.
It
like,
is
it's
competitive, bro. And look at their esports. They get the numbers too. Everyone watches it too.
Everybody's watching that. Like I catch myself watching Valorant sometimes, even though I don't really like to play it. Because everybody's playing that. And like people from all games, they've switched over to Valorant, and like it's a really competitive scene. So I feel like you could definitely pick out someone from like Valorant, and best players in Valorant could definitely be like some of the best players that we've seen.
They could be crazy in like CS. Some of the really good players are insane, but there are a lot of players that were like B tier players, tier 2 players that switch over to Valorant, and they're like gods, they're like sick. But I guess that applied a lot more on launch. Like now it's gone a lot more like over the years now, since it's been out for a bit now. It's gone a lot more competitive, and there's that. But I don't know. I think if I was you got to include somebody from COD, I guess, like maybe Scumpy, bro, because Scump was like, he's won so many championships, and he could win in any scenario. Like he was one of those players that was just like unbeatable when it comes to like when he's playing good, when he's playing perfect. So I even though like, he's controller player, this, that, but it's like, bro, the guy's gameplay, regardless of aim assist, controller, whatever, doesn't matter. Like the dude's one of the greatest to ever touch the FPS genre. He mastered his game, like he definitely mastered his game. So I'd say those guys, that's 3. Then I'm gonna go with best esports, bro. They're like, I could go into fighting game community, but in fighting game community, I wasn't into like Tekken, Street Fighter, and those games as much as I was into Melee. So I would give a Melee character probably as one of those people. But then who I'm gonna, bro, thing, bro. What was his name? I'm blanking. The Quake sick fuck. Rafa.
Rafa.
I think I'm gonna include him just because the guy, even though he plays and he performs insane at Quake, this recent QuakeCon that happened, he won again. After like, bro, he's just the most dominant. And it's like, if he's good at that to that extent, you could put him in any FPS and he's probably gonna be one of the best players, right? So I'll include Rafa in there too. And then the fifth one, I don't know, bro. I'm gonna leave it up as a toss-up as to whoever from this new generation, this new era, Valorant, new Overwatch, these new generation of games that are coming out. Whoever can be the top at that from this youth, the new
Yep.
gen. Like, bro, you saw the thing, right? You saw the Aim Labs competition they had recently, the Red Bull
Yeah.
Aim Labs
Yeah.
aim
Yeah.
thing. Bro, a lot of people before that started were like, bro, the pros are gonna beat them. I don't care if it's an aim competition, they have better aim. I'm like, bro, these guys are aimers. Like they literally just they're aim training. They're literally working on this.
They aim
So,
training for
bro,
aim competitions.
they destroyed them. The last
Yup.
place on the aimers was past the first place on the pros. So
Yup.
I think it's like at that point now where you have kids like that are so fucking good mechanically, and they have all of this stuff, the infrastructure that's been built for esports up to this point to basically leverage off of and be like, okay, I have the skill now. I'm a kid, like little kid, bro. These kids are under 18. They're sick fucks already. Their aim is insane. Their reflexes are on point.
Yup.
So I think there's a bunch of like open area, even though people are now saying esports is like kind of going back, this, that. Esports, the market is just stabilizing to where it should go, but
Yep.
it's on a constant up. You get what I'm saying? I always look at the head of Luminosity, Alex. He always tweets about this because when teams are taking away from esports now, Luminosity's been doubling down. They've been building on their I think they picked up 8 Super Smash Brothers players. Like they're building on that.
Yep.
So they always tweet about how it's like people were just overvaluing certain contracts and certain players and how much you should pay. They didn't know how to monetize things with sponsors, how to monetize a player that's one of their own. Like outside of just getting a percentage of winnings, you need to have marketability. You
Yeah,
need to
of
get some
course.
kind of thing where, oh, we're sponsored by Red Bull. Our players are all promoting Red Bull one way or another. You need to have that side of it too. So like that whole section of it, if you can monetize it properly, it's doable and it's definitely profitable. But you got to know how to get it. You can't just give it $800,000 a year contract to a player, get 4 players and expect, okay, we're just going to be the best and be good. Like no, like you're going to be in the deficit. You're going to have teams like you're having right now where they're second place in the entire league in Valorant and they're dropping their roster. Yep. Stuff like that's happening. So
a lot of orgs are going rogue, bankrupt, all that. It's a crazy time in esports. It's like it's a really crazy time because people are going all over the place. There's new orgs popping up, but there's older orgs that are just falling. Like they're dropping.
They're falling apart. And it comes down to finances and figuring out how you're going to monetize, bro. Yep. That's what it comes down to. And if you can do that right, I think this is going to be like sports. It's going to be the same shit. It's just we're at the beginning stage. And like you said, 10 years ago, they would have laughed, bro. They would have been like, what? No way. But now, like, bro, we're at that level where there are instances where people are being paid and treated as if it's NFL, NBA. It's happening right now. It's happening,
dude. This isn't specifically esports, but the XQC deal on Kick being more than LeBron James' goddamn contract.
Bro, Shaq talked about that on a podcast recently. He was like, I heard there was a streamer guy that got 100 mil. Like, it's going to the outer world. People that don't know about streaming, gaming, anything. They're like, 100 mil, bro? What? For streaming? Like, if he got that, he kind of set the thing in the mountain, like the thing the peg in the mountain where they climb off of. Yep. Now, everyone else is the industry's kind of pushing off of that, and we're going forward from that. So it's good for everybody involved, bro. Shout out to
100%, 100%
his bag, bro. But now everyone else is like, okay, getting a contract for 100K or something doesn't sound that outlandish. If there's a guy getting 100 mil, getting an actual salary doesn't sound like it's out of the question now. So it's very hopeful, I think, for the future. It's going to balance out. The markets are going to balance out a bit, but I think they're headed in the right direction.
Of course, you're gonna have some orgs that kind of just YOLO it, or companies that kind of just YOLO it and they just start spending millions. But I think there's a possibility for it to be an actual like a stable job. Like you're gonna have people that are just streaming or competing, and it's gonna be the same thing as sports. People are just gonna be like, yep, that's just part of life.
I mean, bro, it's definitely not easy to do it, and it's not something that's common, but it is happening even now. Like
100%.
You can make something out of it, but it's gonna get easier and easier to the point where anybody can kind of like try to get into it. Like if you're passionate about it enough, if you have the skill for it, anyone can really get into it and do it. I think that's the beauty of it.
I feel like that's the perfect way. The perfect way to end the podcast on, because honestly, how do you call it? the market, the way esports is going, even though FPS, this is specifically FPS, we're a little bit on the downside. I feel like there's
the
something.
drought.
It's right now we're definitely on the stable side. All the games that are coming out, they're flopping, they're dropping. I don't know if you've seen Hyenas. I don't know if you played Hyenas.
They shut down the servers.
They shut down the servers. Yep.
Already?
Yep.
Bro, hasn't it been 3 weeks?
Me and Tosa last podcast, I said this. I said, Hyenas, it dropped from around 1,000 players at the beginning of the closed beta. It dropped from 1,000 to 90 players.
Oh my
God.
God.
And this was 2 days before like the end of the thing that I said that on that podcast. Wow. And I was like, I'm scared. I literally said, I'm scared that the game is gonna drop out before it even launches. And Tosa sent me this tweet earlier, and I was like, no, there's no way.
That's wild, bro.
I have even though this is happening, I have high hopes. Yeah. And I definitely know that it can. We can get something. There's still games that are good and they're there and they're like imprinted. Things like Apex and stuff. They've been here and they're good games overall.
Like but Titanfall 2, bro. We were playing that the other day. S tier, top tier. But it's like we're gonna need something like Splitgate, the next one, to just revitalize or revamp and like completely change what the FPS scene is for this to get started again. And I mean, bro, there's a chance on Unreal Engine 5 next generation. It could just be that thing. It could just be that one game.
Might be what we need. It might be what we need. I want to shout out all your socials. So it's Mikavelli on everything, right?
Mikavelli on everything. If not Mikavelli TV.
So, YouTube, TikTok, Twitch, whatever the hell it is, go subscribe, follow him. Follow him everywhere. He's an absolute go, streaming like every day on Twitch, pretty much. Always on the newer games, older games, whatever it is. You're always doing your thing. Thank you a lot for being there for my second episode. It was a pleasure.
It's an honor, bro. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It was a pleasure having you on. And yeah, that's pretty much